Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for coming. We hope you had a wonderful first day at IAAPA Expo, and thank you very much for joining this session with, for the moment, 3 wonderful people. And you might want to miscalculate it. There's a 4th chair, which is empty, but we'll come back to that later. Throughout the year, I have the blessing in my role to see many people, to meet with many people, to see many facilities, which I found to be very inspiring. And we have a fantastic education team. They are somewhere running around here, Sean and Max, and they usually start planning next year's education program next week. So by early January, they have all the programs set, and then sometime in May, in April or in July, I come to them and say, hey, do you have a space for those 2 speakers? And I say, you are 6 months late. And then I say, can you give me a slot where I just invite some people I would like to have a nice chat? And that is why we're here. So thank you very much, all of you, for joining. I have 3 guests here, which have all done amazing things in their jobs, which have done attractions, which you need to see, and which all have their inspiring story in very different ways. And next to me is Robert Dahl. Robert is a visionary, and it's always hard to explain where Robert comes from because he has a strawberry farm. And I always say it's a long-term family business which sold strawberries. And then people came to pick strawberries, and then people came to stay for coffee and cake, and then they stayed for attractions, and he's building hotels. We have now 8 locations. 7 locations, I think 10 more on the planning, and you were planning the big jump across the pond to North America. And if you have not seen any of these attractions, and I'm sorry, I don't want to offend any other operator in the room, I would say it's the best retail chain in which we have in our industry. So thank you very much, Robert, for coming. Next to me is Scott O'Neill. I don't think I have to introduce Scott a lot. Scott is the CEO of Merlin Entertainments, and one of the biggest giants in this industry, and one of the largest operators which we have worldwide. And it's hard to have an exact count of attractions because you open some every week, it feels, across the world. And Scott has been with Merlin now for approximately 2 years, correct? And has a huge background in the sports industry, and very happy to have Scott here. And then on the side, we have Steve Thomas from Belmont Park in San Diego. Steve actually is I was once the liaison for the safety committee, and they always look up to Steve because they said he's one of the few maintenance managers who made it to general manager. And it only took him 10 months. He started in 2017 as maintenance manager, became 10 months later the general manager and CEO of Belmont Park. And we will talk about that later because it's also a fascinating story to see how that has developed. So thank you all for joining. First question, and maybe we start in the row. How is 2024 for you? How has the season been?
It was good. We had a good season and opened a new park at 23rd of March this year. And due to that, a lot of PR and yeah, we are happy.
You're happy?
We are happy.
Good. You are, I think, not many say, and I'm glad to hear it. Scott?
Did you say you're happy? I wasn't as happy, but I'm glad you're happy. That makes me happy. 24 was not a bad year. As I talked to my colleagues around the world, and I talked to friends in the industry, I think people generally have the same read and feel. I think inflation generally caught up with the blue collar worker, and that sucked a little life out of our ability to take price. Most of us, I'll speak generally industry wide, most of us held on volumes, but it wasn't a great year. Up year over year for sure. Robust October, which is a nice pleasant surprise. But if you're just talking about trading, this is not one that will make the Hall of Fame books. If you're talking about the progress that we made in the company, I would agree. I'm very happy. We laid the foundation in terms of data. We've had incredible upgrades in terms of our design and creative capability. And I think generally, we had an announcement today in terms of brand partnerships are at an all-time high. The business is going certainly in the right direction, but things are good, but not great.
Very simple for us at Belmont. We had a flat attendance-wise year. actually per cap spend was down about $2.77 per person, which for us was about $5 million that we were down this year versus our expectation for 2024. But also similar, we moved forward. And I was talking to somebody recently that was walking through Belmont Park, which is in San Diego. We're nestled between a bay and the Pacific Ocean. And they're like, man, they're always moving forward here. It feels like you're always moving forward. So in spite of us having a flat year, we were still moving forward, and that the perception of everybody else around us was like we're still pushing and innovating at the park, and we're still looking to improve overall. So good things.
Can I also just add that, like, I have this saying at work with my team, it's like never waste a good crisis. And this is an industry that's sometimes short on humility. Not for these three, but for everybody else. And I think that when you go through a period where you have higher aspirations and expectations of what you might hit from a budget standpoint, it gives you a chance to really like sit back and think about how am I leveraging this to position us better for the future. And it was like that for me. That was the best outcome for 24.
Yeah, I actually have a pretty interesting learning over this year, which was, we went into it, you had all this pressure coming out of COVID to raise prices, minimum wages going up, you're dealing with cost of goods increasing on the food and beverage side. And so every year you're pushed to raise prices. And this year, it hit me like a ton of bricks, because what we saw happen was we have a free open park. You can buy tickets, you can buy a wristband, you can buy an annual pass. And we usually see a ton of wristbands being sold. We saw everybody shift from the wristband. We priced it what I think was too high, ultimately. And we saw a ton of people shifting out of the wristband back into single ticket purchases and decreasing the spend significantly. And it was definitely a huge learning for me, because we got away from who we are at the core, which is simple, valuable, cost effective. We want everybody to enjoy the park. And when we deviated from that, we felt it.
There was a lot of pressure coming out of that revenge spend coming out of COVID. I agree. I think a lot of us maybe missed the curve in terms of pricing.
But you have a different concept. You have three entrants. Maybe I've asked first, who of you has been ever to Karls? Okay, is anybody volunteering to try to explain the success of Karls? Have you been to Karls?
Yes.
No, okay. Then it will be difficult for you to explain. Lionel, do you want to explain? Do we have a mic for Lionel? Any ambassador? No? John? Thanks. Oh, good.
He's usually mic'd up.
Yeah. Rainer van Assendelft, wonderful volunteer with IAAPA.
So, it is something that touches your heart when you enter there. The entrance is almost free, and you can see what passion and what creativity the owners put in. It's all based on the love for strawberries. And you can even see it on Robert's arm. There's a strawberry. And that's the only one we still see. I visited a few years ago in Berlin, and I think I told everyone that I met the year after to go there to see, to experience it. It's just wonderful.
Thank you, Rainer. Robert, would you agree with this description?
I love it. Thank you very much. We started Karls as a retailer. We are a retailer, and then to encourage more people to come visit us, we started with our first playgrounds and so on many years ago. But then in 2008, we also added a small ride, tractor ride, and found out that people liked it a lot, and more people came to the park. But still, we do 60% of our yearly revenue with retail, and in terms of EBITDA, food, dining, hospitality, and ticketing is about even, is the same like retail EBITDA. So now we are kind of a mixture between amusement park and retailer.
What comes for you first? Story, retail, or attractions?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
On the intimacy.
I love the storytelling about my job. This to no matter if it's a story about a real great product which we sell, or about a playground or ride, or something what people eat. So storytelling I love most, and I think the main reason why people come visiting Karls is really the mixture of it. I wouldn't say that people come especially to go for our rides or especially to go shopping. They love this easy mixture, and it's easy to decide to visit Karls because you have to pay no entrance fee and can enjoy a lot of things for free.
Is it a little bit like IKEA principle? Entrance is free, you pay at the cash desk.
I read it somewhere from you, and I loved this idea that you pay the entrance fee at the exit. It's funny, and yeah, it's a little bit like that, I guess.
You come from a family of strawberry farms. What drives you, what inspired you to develop attractions? And I think, you said it, you have 7. I think you announced you want to build 10 more over the next years in Germany. Where does this come from?
From deep inside. I really love this challenge, and I'm really curious. I love to be here to meet people like you, and to join such a show like IAAPA, for example, but I'll also go in Germany or Italy to a strawberry show where the newest varieties of strawberries are shown, and new tractors, and I can go to Guangzhou, to South China, and to select some new items for our shop. So I love this life, and I cannot get enough of it. So I want more.
Your focus right now, it seems like, is on a vertical and horizontal growth. You obviously build new parks, but also you invest into accommodation. You have plans for a water park in one of your locations. This is a hotel which I think, from my understanding, is built completely by recycled material. And where's the limit? Like, what is it?
Where's the limit? I hope there's no limit, but of course we have. It's not easy to achieve all these goals, but we have got 3 ways of doing it. Like first of all, we try to bring Karls to a decentralized organization. So in all our locations, the people got a lot of trust, team managers got a lot of trust to decide whatever they think is right to decide. It's the opposite of centralization. So decentralization is one of it's a really great idea, I think, and it works quite good. Not always, not every day, but very often. Second, we try to our development department is now like about 40 people working there for developing new projects, and we try to let this department grow, of course, because it's the only way to bring all these projects to life. And I work a lot on this, really.
IP is an interesting subject, and I would love to hear Scott's opinion on that one afterwards. You operate in a way you own IP. Karls has become an IP, because you're omnipresent. At the same time, you're now going into a business where you also buy companies. Probably not many people in this audience will know Bibi and Tina, which is a very popular series for young girls in Germany. You're planning to build an own park based on that IP. What is your feel on that? And I'm trying to scroll through the picture, so I think we have a picture of you with
Bibi and
Tina.
Oh, yeah. And Amadeus and Sabrina, that's the 2 horses of Bibi and Tina. Why we are doing it? It's a question.
Yes.
Karls, we have got 6 characters. The main character is Karlchen, and he has got 5 friends. And they were developed by a publisher which 40 years ago developed Bibi Tina, which is the most famous character in Germany, and a series in TV, even in cinema. They have 5 movies now in cinema. And I asked them once when we talked about Karls, why there's no Bibi Tina amusement park. And they said they don't know, and I asked them if I can do it because we have a great big site of piece of land close to Berlin. And I thought it's a great idea to bring more people to this place, to bring more people to our hotels which are planned there. And so.
Yeah. Scott, IPs, I mean, you
I'm yes. I'm supportive.
but you also, in a certain way, also have your own IPs with some of your parks. But will we, and we obviously talk about non-IP later, and do you plan to continue the growth with external IPs, or do you also say you want to develop our own things?
Yeah, so it's a very busy, convoluted, hectic world, and we're trying to break through to the consumer, and we think the best way to do that is through established brands. So that's one piece. So, and that's kind of who we are. That's our mission, is to be the leader in brand entertainment destinations. So that's what we do. In terms of how we can create our own brands, we have a pretty aggressive work stream right now going with our Merlin Magic Makers to put out 25 experiences in the next 18 months, immersive experiences in brands that we're creating. And that's, I mean, given the size of our business, that's more fun than actual, I mean, it's a big business we're running, and that's kind of a fun sidecar where our Merlin Magic Makers get to think and create, bring big data, analytics, and research, match that with our segmentation of audiences, and now into markets with a real estate team. That's like the fun part of the business that we're having, that we think, we'll bear some fruit. The payback's very quick and return's very high. But at this point, even at 25 in the market in the next 18 months, it won't make enough of a dent to really impact the business one way or the other. So we prefer big brands with big eyes, big aspirations, big IP, massive global reach. That's what we're seeking and working towards.
Steve, coming to you. I talked to the team, and we had a wonderful North America summit, I think, last year with you in San Diego. And somebody in the team said he was at the park 10 years ago, and it was probably, he stayed there for 30 minutes, and now it's a full day experience. What did you change?
The mindset. I mean, if you want to look at it holistically, when I went in there, Belmont Park historically was something that I wouldn't call an iconic destination. And when I took a look at it, I walked through. If you go to that next photo real quick, this kind of summarizes it. So I took this photo in 2017 when I was like 2 weeks on the job, coming in to run the maintenance and facilities department. And I took at how they were organizing all of their rides parts in their warehousing. And the only thing that was clean in this picture is the trash can. It is empty. And so I actually used this with the team the next day. And I was like, there's a problem here, guys. We got to fix this, And they had things on the shelf that were, old motors that were rusted. And they're like, we're going to rebuild this. And I said, this will never touch one of my rides, ever. Throw it in the trash. So it was a mindset shift. It was them looking at our guests as somebody special and that we needed to treat them better more than they were there to take advantage of us. And I would say that in a nutshell, that was what we changed. It wasn't that the park was missing the pieces. It's just that they weren't put together. And so when I came on and finally got that general manager role, I started to buy up all the other small businesses inside of Belmont Park to make one unified park. So right now we own and operate about 95% of it with a few select tenants that we know are behind us and support us, and they'll help us push the rock up the hill, not just leech onto the business that comes every day.
It's interesting because it feels, I went to your park some years ago, it felt, I think it didn't change a lot in attractions, but you changed everything else. Would you agree to that?
Sort of. We added quite a few attractions as well, but something that we realized is we were kind of landlocked at Belmont Park. We don't have a lot of space, and that was kind of an excuse that was used often. We don't have a lot of space, we can't expand, we can't do this. Well, I started looking at the park, and you talk about revenue per square foot. I was thinking fun per square foot. How do we get every square inch out of this park? And so there was things, the Giant Dipper perimeter fence, which is our iconic roller coaster, has been there 99 years. I was able to push the perimeter fence in about 4 foot all the way around it and get that square footage back for midway, additional attraction, and just going through the entire park and figuring out how do I play Tetris with this and how do I add an attraction that is starting to provide fun for the small kids, the middle-aged kids, and the adults all the way through, and coupling that with a great culinary experience.
And what I noticed is you have a fantastic team culture. I went there and felt everybody was welcoming, everybody was super proud to be part of the team, everybody was passionate, hungry. Would you agree there? What did you do?
Got really lucky, blessed. I push very authentic culture overall, and I'm a team guy. I believe in teams, grew up playing sports, so I know it takes a lot of us. Nobody is responsible for the whole thing, so we talk about that. Everybody has a stake, everybody has a voice at the table. We collaborate often and frequently, and it's the best idea wins. It's not my idea wins. And so I think that has fostered what you're seeing there, where everybody feels involved and that they have a piece.
Scott, from the outside, it feels, since you have taken over, you have done a similar approach with you brought in a lot of people into leading roles, that you have also focused more on leadership style. Is that the case? And what are the results of your efforts in that space?
Sure. I mean, I followed this amazing 25-year founder, and I come from a family of founders and amazing entrepreneurs, and there's wonderful things with founders and businesses, and there's some other, and it also leads to big new opportunities. Because founders are so intuitive, the business is so intuitive, they make so many decisions just with their gut experience. And when you come in with some fresh eyes from the outside, you actually get to see some of those opportunities. Our chief operating officer's over there, Fiona Eastwood, who's a good partner of Crown Wine, and she's been here for 9 years. Kirsty's in the back, incredible communications team here in the front. I'm sure we're missing some of our incredible executives here. But this place is littered with incredible world executives, and some have been here for 25 years and others for 25 minutes. For us, we believe that the sustainable competitive advantage is to create the greatest place in the world to work and play. And so that is at the heart of who we are, and every decision we make is kind of wrapped around, does this contribute to that? Does this take us a step forward? Does it take us a step back? Once you figure out who you want to be, then we just went out and certainly recruited some talent. And we have extraordinary talent, but there was extraordinary talent when we walked in. But it's just, the world is changing. And so some of the things I'm interested in, like data and analytics, and making sure that, from a marketing standpoint, that we're leading edge. And so we had to bring in some new skill sets and make sure that we're upscaling our creative team, that we're prepared to leverage AI and basic changes and developments that are happening in the world. Of course, you need different skill sets, but what the question is what are you looking for in your team? You hear it from Steve, or you hear it, right? So you can hear, if you're getting recruited from Steve, you know exactly what he's looking for. For me, I'm looking for light in your eyes. That's the first thing I look for. It's when I'm interviewing, I'm looking, does this person come in and inspire you to have light in their eyes? Because you know right away. I'm looking for someone who has overcome in their life. I'm not looking for the silver spoon kids. I'm not looking for the country club kids. I'm actually looking for people who had to work for a living growing up. That actually had to scratch and claw. I want to know they failed before. Because our business is just about fail and learn, fail and learn, fail and learn. So you have to have that resilience. And then you need to work unreasonably hard. We have now, in this business, we have decided what we've decided. We've decided to live like this. Okay? It's not rational. What we do is not rational. The hours we work, it's not rational. How hard we care, how much we care, is ridiculous. The fact that we'll drop everything on a dime to make sure that an employee is taken care of, that our guests are safe, that in our case we have animal safety issues, that every creature, we literally had a hurricane come through this area, and we had our team sleeping on the floor and while everybody else is leaving the state, our team is sleeping on the floor to make sure the sea creatures are okay. Like that's who we are. And so when you're interviewing, like part of it is like interviewing up front. It's like, do you know what you want? Steve's looking for teammates. Like that's a great thing to look for. Are you an extraordinary teammate? But I will tell you what, man, that look, you know, I can never get enough of that look. And as you meet people, you figure out like what you want to be and who you are. And I think that is the thing. Once you have incredible talent that you can attract and retain, and you establish your place as a culture that is an inspiring culture, a place where you want to work, a place where you want to be. Not that's easy, you know, because people want to be challenged. They want to be pushed. They want opportunity. They want this chance to grow. Once you figure that out, there's nothing in the world you can't accomplish.
As Scott is not mentioning that, I can only highly recommend his book, Be Where Your Feet Are. I read it.
Me too, by the way.
I don't get permission, but
We'll work it out.
I got a quick question for you, Scott. So, you know, as your business evolves, have you found that you need to rotate those people as well?
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's so many amazing stories. So on our executive team, we have 2 people who started on the front line. And so this is a company, you know, we're $2 billion plus in revenue, we've got 30,000 employees, and 2 of them, one started selling balloons and one started in emissions in a lake plant. Like, where does that happen in the world? Where? Tell me, find me another place. Like, find me a place where you know, there are people all over our state that started as kids and walked in, and this is my first job, and now they find themselves in different countries, learning different languages with all these opportunities. So I think this is a place where we all, each of us, figure out how we're going to help the rising generation have a special careers as we've had. And so yes, we move people around. I'm somewhat infamous in my previous careers. I'm only there 2 years, so my previous careers, lifting people out and putting them in different roles that they have not done before, which is a lot of fun and causes a lot of anxiety for everybody else. But yeah, no, I do. I absolutely love it. I come from both my folks were PhDs in leadership development and design. And so I think our dinner table is more like a laboratory in terms of how you create teams, how you inspire people. So that's a bit of a passion point for me.
thank you, Scott. And Steve, when we were there with the North America Summit, it was interesting. You were one of the very few events where we went and you brought forward some of your partners to present to the group. What was the idea behind, and tell us more about this philosophy of working, you have very close relationships with your partners.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a big culinary offering at Belmont Park. We have 3 full-service restaurants. If you can go back to the overhead view, all the rest of my slides aren't nearly as good as
That looks awful.
Fantastic.
Terrible place.
But we have 3 full-service restaurants. We have a 2,000 cap concert venue. And one of the things that's really important to me is that we stay authentic to San Diego, who San Diego is. I believe that locals love San Diego, and I believe the tourists love San Diego. And one of our goals is when visitors come from out of the country or somewhere else in the United States, we want them to have the authentic Southern California experience. We want them to walk on our property, go to the beach, and go, this is exactly what I thought I was going to get when I came here. And with that, we talk about sustainability, and for me, that means local. That means staying as local as I possibly can. So we use a ranch for all of our beef that's 2 hours away from Belmont Park. We get all of our seafood as locally as possible, from the Fisherman's Wharf in San Diego up to Santa Monica Seafoods. We do all locally created spirits, whether it be the beers, because we have a great craft beer industry. We actually acquired a winery recently in North County, San Diego, so that's now doing all the wine for our restaurants. And so there's things that we just want to provide that we know we're providing this community of San Diego with more jobs. We're supporting that community overall, and we're being as sustainable as possible by bringing locally sourced products to our venue.
But is that part of your success, the global trend of regional and authentic?
Of course, when we still grow strawberries. We are the biggest strawberry grower in Germany, actually, and sell strawberries everywhere where we are, and a lot of products made out of our strawberries. So that is super local or regional, but we try to bring a lot of other vendors inside with regional food and to be authentic, especially with our food service is, I think, important for us. But before this talk, we talked a little bit about food service, and we always wish to bring new ideas, but in the end, a lot of guests like to eat French fries and burgers.
It is actually, there's a wonderful example, not sure if you know about it, there's a park in Sweden called Erlebnis-Dörfer. And they sold fries, and it's all about the stories of the childhood of the Erlebnis. They sold fries and pizza and burgers. And then at one moment they decided to become authentic and say, we only serve what could be in the books. So they kicked out all pizzas, all fries, everything which you would sell today, and just had authentic Swedish food. And they said it was very difficult in the first year, but then actually they got a reputation, they got an outreach to media which would have never talked about the past, and it definitely paid off in the long term. That was very interesting.
It's a good lesson. Just, as we I'm very proud of the fact that our parks are run by people from the country. So I was in our park in Korea, and they were very focused that if you have a Western perspective, you come in, they took all the food out of the kitchen. So they had special refrigerators, and I was like, it's so obvious, now, like looking back. That was there in the park open. But I just love that. I love your story. I love that notion of local. Like, I love your story of local. Like, give me San Diego. San Diego is one of the most special places in the world. Mm-hmm. And when you go there, like, I don't want to be in Chicago. I don't want to be in New York. I don't want to be in LA. Right. I love that. I think that's really, really special.
It was wonderful. The guy who produces the name for Belmont Park, he was presenting. I think he nearly had tears in his eyes when he talked about his farm and his beef. It was fantastic.
It's an incredible story. It was, they had the ranch for somewhere like around 100 years, and his grandfather started to have like arthritis really bad in his hands from working with the feed that had like the steroids and all the stuff in it. And so they decided then and there, like hormone-free, steroid-free beef all the way, and they've been that way for 60 years now.
And Scott, you were announced for your world 2 years ago, and where do you stand today and where you want Merlin to become on that journey?
Well, I think it's a lot of fun. Look, there we go.
I have plenty of them. That was your comms team. That was not me.
Oh man, it's a journey. It is such a special journey, and I look back in the last 2 years so fondly. Like I feel like we have this amazing team. And so the first step for me is always strategy. Like, do you have the right strategy for growth? And I feel like we pivoted quite a bit strategically. So the way I think about preparing for hyper growth or a turnaround or a transformation, however you want to say it, is strategy first. Do we have the right strategy? And I think we're there, and that's a big hurdle. And then, do you have the right structure? We're unlocking that. We're probably 4 months away from having the right structure to map to the strategy. And then, do you have the right people? And I'm a yes. So I think the three most important things I think we have. We've done some really, special things to get ourselves ready. And so, we've been operating like 148, individual companies, and there's some real beauty in that, and there's a real good advantage in that. And but I think the way we're going to unlock some opportunity is to operate a global company that we are. And so that's quite a shift from what we've been and where we're heading. We haven't historically invested in data. And so, now we have a platform at Data Lake, for those of you who understand what that is. Our systems now are talking to each other, which is good. And, 2 years later, we got 17 million names. And in 5 years, we'll have 50 million names. And in 7 years, we'll have 100 million names. And life gets a lot easier, and our early matchmakers were much more long lead, 3, 4, 5 year leads. And, we're turning over projects in 6 months right now. And that's amazing. And so we didn't have a definable ESG strategy. One of the things I'm really proud and passionate about is how are we being a good steward and citizen of the world? And that's not because of my lefty leaning ways, and it's not because the rising generation demands it. It's because it's the right thing to do, and that's part of like table stakes now. So now we're going phase 1, phase 2 carbon neutral by 2030. I'm really proud of that. So there's so many things we've been on the journey to accomplish, but we have so much longer to go. But the foundation is set, the strategy is set, the structure's there, the people are there. Now's the fun part. Now you hit the gas.
one of the biggest subjects coming out of interviews and stories with you for you is also pricing. And
I got slaughtered in the pricing story, okay? I got called into the principal's office and the board, yeah, let's talk pricing, let's do it, let's get on record, everybody record this. Let's have some more fun, it's gonna be great. Let's do it, fire away.
stage is yours.
Yes, pricing is important. Are you allowed to no comment up here? What do you think about pricing? It's a good time. What do you think about pricing? What's your take? Should we just have a one price fits all? What would you do?
We talk about a variety of attractions. You know, it is you operate aquariums, you operate, standalone attractions, you operate theme parks and hotels.
Yeah, I just wonder if
honestly,
if I were taking a flight and I wanted to sit in the front, which I would, should I pay the same price as someone sitting in the back of the bill? Yes or no? If I wanted to fly on a Tuesday in October versus like 3 days before Christmas, should I pay the same price? Yes or no? Like every industry in the world prices smartly. And by the way, our industry is just catching up. We're just behind. When I started in 1994, I worked for the Philadelphia Eagles, an NFL team, American Football League team. And every seat of the 60,000 seat stadium in Veterans Stadium was priced at $40 a game. How is that possible? So you could be sitting 12 rows up on the 50-yard line, which is the best seat in the house, and pay the same price as someone that could barely, the game was a rumor. Same price. And so for us, it's like, guys, this is the way of the world. And I know there's some resistance, and I'm sure this will be written about, I'll get tortured again. But I will tell you, it's like, this is basic. So if you want to just simplify it and say super peak, off peak or shoulder, sure, do it. If you want to get more sophisticated, like it was in my last job, where we had an aisle seat was priced different from 5 seats in, which was priced, if you're 11th row, was priced different than the 13th row. Because you know what, when I go to a sports event, I want to sit on the aisle. I do. And so I'll pay more for that. Or I won't sit on the aisle. And so I think this is like, we're not selling, Campbell's tomato soup cans. We're not. And we have to make sure that we manage our guest experience, and to do that means we've got to regulate price, because price regulates volume. So I think it's one of my great frustrations in this industry in terms of like where we are compared to where we could go, and the public acceptance. And the notion of surge pricing is ridiculous. It's not surge pricing. It's like demand pricing. It's dynamic pricing. It's like we're making sure that we can provide the best experience we can possibly provide for our guests. That's what we do for a living. That's what we do. That's what we're charged with. So, yes. Nobody write any of that down.
I was visiting this summer our second vice chair, Luciana Parianes, who has FECs in Entertainments in Argentina. And with the inflation of sometimes 200%, she said she has to adjust her pricing every second day.
Yeah.
You stay with free entrance, pay per ride?
For us, for Karls, it's a low threshold and very low threshold for entry Karls, and a good value for money when it comes to ticketing. For us, it's very important because we need to bring a lot of people to Karls. We like to keep it simple because, as I said before, the big part of Karls is retail. So for us, it's important that we have got a lot of people. And we do not want to make it too complicated to understand. Always must be easy to visit Karls, no complication and no fear that maybe that day which I choose Karls is all of a sudden very expensive to entry. That is what I do not want. So it must be low, and that is our strategy. But I can understand that all what you said about the big stadium for a sporting event, or if you want to sit in the front of the airplane, I can totally agree. But Karls is not an airplane. It's very simple to enter for a lot of people, and we keep it like that.
Your ticket price is on the way. It's the best thing you said.
They have to buy a jar of strawberry jam.
Scott, Merlin is probably the strongest player in the industry, working with also external IPs. In the last 24 hours, you have made a major announcement with, I think, the best-selling game of all time.
Yes.
We have a special guest talking
Yes,
about
let's bring Kayleen up here.
So Kayleen Walters is Vice President Franchise Development for Gaming at Microsoft, and she's responsible for expanding gaming franchises through various entertainment platforms, including consumer products, partnerships, film, television, and free interactive entertainment. Welcome to IAAPA. I assume it's your first show here.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
You have quite an experience in the entertainment industry, but maybe we should look first at the video, if you mind. We are actually flattered because you announced it yesterday and you're here today to speak the first time publicly about it. So how did this partnership come to life? And that's probably a question for the two of you. But
Well, I can start because we've known Merlin for a while, working closely with one of our consumer products partners, Lego. And we've always talked about the idea of partnering with Merlin, but I would say it wasn't until Scott joined the organization and he had a real clarity of vision that aligned with our vision, and the energy that he brought to the organization really made us think that this was the right partnership to go into.
Scott, anything to add from your side? I mean, this is also you because it's a new brand.
Yeah. As I can say, even I can see this one coming. When you have 141 million monthly players, 1.3 trillion YouTube views. It's like, this is my favorite stat. Kids 5 to 17 around the world, those that have internet usage, 36% of them play Minecraft. Like, their awareness is 92% of the world is aware of Minecraft. Like, this is a brand beyond what you've ever seen or heard before. And it's for us, like, you know, Lego's the #1 toy brand in the world, Peppa's the #1 tile brand. This is the #1 game brand by far, like, period in a sentence. And that's what gets you to the table and gets us so interested. And then when you meet Kayleen and Bob and their team, like, you can't just help but fall in love with them, their vision, how passionate they are. And then with the Mojang Studios team, and putting them together with our team, seeing them like co-create right before our eyes, this is one of those special partnerships, those special organizations and teams, and the special experiences that you get when you get a peek behind the curtain to see how it's all made. That I will never forget for the rest of my life.
I'll add to all of his stats too, which is very impressive, by the way, that over 50% of people who consider themselves Minecraft fans don't actually play the game. So one of our strategies is to create more touch points for them to interact with the game. And so immersive experiences is just a great way to bring adventures to life. And so that's one of the reasons why we're really excited about this partnership.
And we have a movie coming out.
Do?
We have a TV series.
Do?
So yeah, Kaylee's been busy at work. You know?
It's interesting how you say we already.
It's like a cozy up already. It's like a little closer. No, it's just fun business. It really is. Fun business, great people, great collaborations. It's a lot of fun.
I think, Scott, when we look at our industry, we used to entertain guests throughout the day. They came in the morning, they left in the evening, and that was about the visit. And I think that has changed. We interact with the guests beforehand. We also try to interact with the guests afterwards. We try to stay engaged with them. How will Minecraft and Merlin contribute to this? What is the idea of melting virtuals?
I mean, well, there'll be a lot of cross-platform opportunities, as you can imagine. So, you can imagine like bespoke opportunities you can get in our attractions that can be transported to game and vice versa, which is pretty exciting. And that's one thing. That's what we talked about the first day, which I was really excited about. And then we have to do our jobs. I mean, you know, we all have to do our jobs. Now, I remember when we have a new chief marketing officer, Craig Ingles, who's a brilliant marketer, and the first thing he says, we need more content people. You know, and I was like, okay, you're speaking my language. You know, it's this notion of like you build this database and then you understand where the consumers are coming from, what they're interested in, then you build content around it, and then then you're in the community. But this is arguably the strongest community in the world, and that's what we talk about Minecraft in this community. And so our ability and opportunity to be part of that community, you know, part of that ecosystem is where we see our fit.
I'd also add that, you know, talking about the community, there's a couple things. One, our community builds a lot of Minecraft themselves too. And while we're early in the stages of thinking about, you know, with the Merlin Magic Makers who are amazing and our creative team, adding that community element to it and that dynamicism of how does the community interact with these parks experiences brings it to a whole new level.
And Scott, how do you see this partnership evolving over the next few years? Is that kind of, I think, I'm not sure, you know, I think you announced two locations. Two locations?
Yes.
So the first,
Neither of us would have made the announcement, nor would we be sitting up here, nor would we in our teams be spending so much time if our aspiration was to have the attraction in the US and an attraction in the UK. Lego is the best model. I mean, look, they're our biggest shareholder. They're a large part of our business. They're a wonderful partner, and so that is the model. But we're a test and learn organization, and so we have several things in the hopper that are really exciting. We're going to bring two to market relatively quickly, hopefully by 26 and 27. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but we are, and.
I think I saw it in the press. I think I saw it in the press.
Okay, good. Because in my press notes, I had a whole slide on the left that said, "Do not say this." I just smell it.
I'm also looking at the communications people.
They're right there.
So far, there's nothing.
They'll shake me off if I say something, unfortunately. But yeah, so we hope this to be as, and this is you don't get into a relationship like this for a year, for two, you get into for decades, because that's what our business is. It's long lead business. So we're going to test a whole bunch of different formats, you know, rides, attractions, food and beverage, accommodation, et cetera, et cetera. But this will be the place where Minecrafters will come to bring this experience to life. So.
I think Merlin's in 23 countries.
Yes, we are.
One of the great things about Merlin is we get to bring Minecraft to where the people are because they're already there.
But it's a fun stat about Minecraft is played in every country.
That was my next question. Other countries where it's
But Antarctica was on the list.
Antarctica and Vatican City.
I was like, Antarctica, like this penguins playing Minecraft.
We talked about your Viviantina Park. Over. Do you say when this first one is successful, you want to roll it out furthermore?
No, I don't think so. Because we want to keep it simple. Our Karls concept in our sites in Germany, in other countries, I think Viviantina is nothing because it does not exist. And so one Viviantina Park for Germany, I think, is enough. I think the fans, they are really heavy fans for Viviantina, and they will come and visit this one park, I hope.
I have two daughters that actually could sing the song now, but I saved them that. Back to you two, Scott, Kayleen. What are you most excited about in this partnership?
I'm excited about just the opportunity to create a portfolio of experiences around the world where people can go immerse themselves in Minecraft in real life.
This is going to sound nerdy, but it's not the first time. I love the creative process. That's what I'm most excited about. Like to see. So I remember the first day. They were just like pieces of lands and worlds all over this big table. There were about 20 creatives, and it was a big board. And I saw them design a theme park right before our very eyes. And I think it's just the start. Mojang Studios team based in Sweden, there's two Swedes, and they have this wonderful way about them. and openness, and like it's very much Minecraft, right? It's like you learn, you build, you grow, you develop, and so bringing that philosophy into a creative process and with our creative teams, the co-creation part for me is like that's the joy, that's the fun.
It's actually, I mean, you have experience with blocks, and I see a lot of blocks in Minecraft as well, so it might be easier for your creative teams to work from Lego bricks to Minecraft for sure, but like,
We're a bit different, you know. I mean, you know, Disney does things extraordinarily well, University does things extraordinarily well. You know, we for us, it's like Minecraft. Like, it's the brand that being a steward of a brand is like such a big responsibility, you know, and opportunity. Those are responsibility, and so the work that goes into just making sure that it's something that Kayleen and her team and the Mojang crew and more importantly that 300 million Minecrafter community, that's something that is very authentic to them, that they believe in the depths of their soul, and that they not only are excited in anticipation for what's coming, but the manifestation of that comes, and they, you know, so that's it's what makes us different, I think, and I think it's what makes us special, and that this is not like there's no Merlin flag that we're waving here. This is like we're dialed in. We are dialed right in on this brand to make sure we bring it to life in the best possible way.
but it probably also sets expectations for your games. I mean, I think we have seen an example in Orlando with the Star Wars hotel where hardcore Star Wars fans have very certain expectations of how they want to have it.
You know, you're speaking our language with your background now.
I would like to see the contract language and maybe how to ensure that stays. But what are your thoughts in how far involved are you in the process with Merlin to make sure that your audience feels, yeah, that fits to us?
Well, I learned from Star Wars, also having a very passionate community, that you have to bring the community along the journey with you. And so it's interesting as we talk about collaborating to develop this, we do have to think about the community and how they're a part of the collaboration. But to your point, it is about co-creating. So our team is small, and what we want to do is work very closely with a small team at Merlin to co-create the experiences together, because they're the experts in how to bring location-based experiences to life, but our team is the experts on how to keep it authentic to Merlin. And so bringing those together is what is going to make an amazing experience.
And I actually didn't mention that at the beginning. Kayleen has worked for 13 years at Lucasfilms, so you know it is crazy, very impressive to see that.
Equally passionate, I guess.
Yeah. And we talked a little bit about this long-term vision, what you see with the rollout. Steve, where do you see Belmont Park in 5 years?
Well, we're always looking to expand Belmont in many ways. Like Scott talked a little bit about reaching the audience outside of the parks, and we're tiny, we're 4 acres in San Diego. But one of our goals is Belmont beyond our borders. I work for a private equity group, so like I said, we recently closed on a winery. We're looking at a small water park. We're looking to expand our portfolio outside of real estate specifically and into more operating businesses that tie into the attractions industry. So I see us growing in the food and beverage space, entertainment, and the attractions.
Or what? I think somebody told me you once had the plan that no one in Germany should drive longer than 2 hours to come to one of your facilities. Is that true?
No.
No.
60 minutes.
60 minutes. Okay.
Yeah. Because we have got, but if you count it in that way, it's every 2 hours one counts.
Yeah.
Because then you drive 60 minutes to one of them. So that's right. Yeah, because Karls it's a small park. Our facilities are 4 to 5 hectare, which is I think 12 acre maybe approximately. So it's not a big site, and people come for 3, 4, sometimes 5 hours. But they do not travel like 400 kilometers to visit Karls. Mm-hmm. And that's why we decided to come to the people. And by 2035, we want to have it that way that there are so many sites of Karls that nobody travels more than 60 minutes.
How do you organize that financially and organizationally?
We earn quite a lot of money and put all the
Which is great.
Yeah. And we put all the money in the parks. I never, since I founded Karls, I never took on a lot of money, only really few.
You work so much you can't spend it.
I have no time to spend it, and I love to bring it back to Karls. And so, since 2016, we had no other money from no bank or so we.
All self-financed.
Yes, and organizational wise, we are working on it every day to grow our organization to reach this goal, but. It's getting easier from each Karls to the next one because we are learning a lot and some things we can copy and paste and so I think we can do it.
Scott, is Minecraft to Merlin potentially what Lego has been to Merlin 10 years ago?
Certainly hope so. That's the plan.
That's good.
Yes.
Very impressive. I have no further questions. Thank you all for coming here.